Girl, it's what I heard. Allegedly, it's just the word. Allegedly, it's on the street. Allegedly, I sing to the beat. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly.
Nick Cannon says he wants to have his 13th baby with Taylor Swift. I don't understand why people are so infatuated with her mediocrity. I mean, she's not very pretty. She's not very smart. What is so interesting about this white woman? I mean, there are fascinating white women out there, talented white women, pretty white women. Say Adele. Give me a Meryl Streep, but Taylor Swift, that's a ketchup sandwich right there. However, in other mediocre heifer news, Kim Kardashian is going to be on this season of American Horror. The show was already scary enough. We don't need the threat of her bad acting. Then again, the show hasn't been scary since season 3. Now, season 2, that gave me a little chill. This stunt casting, is that what you're trying to do to get us back to the show? Why don't you make it interesting? Why don't you put in some effort? Why don't you sit in the writing room and work backwards? Tell a cohesive story. Maybe give it more than 10 episodes. I don't know what you need to do, but Kim Kardashian ain't it. And in Ain't It news, Rihanna says motherhood is the bomb. And let me tell you why that ain't it. Now, I am sure motherhood is wonderful, but Rihanna, you as a billionaire with a man are experiencing a much different motherhood than the rest of us. If I have a child, that's going to be a different motherhood. Y'all have children. It's a different motherhood when you have family, nannies, and money to spare. Money to fly the grandmama in. You ain't even got to hire help. You ain't even got to worry about that. You can have the family on the payroll. They was there anyway. So your motherhood is different. It's stress-free. You don't have to work. You show up and you get $1 million. You take an Instagram, 400,000. Your child is already rich and never has to work, never has to think about work. So your motherhood is different. Our motherhoods are filled with worry and concern and penny pinching. Your motherhood is filled with photo ops and Photoshop. I'm glad you're having a good time, though. But don't be telling that to us po folk. Don't be saying that. Ooh, and speaking of po folk, you can't keep a good scammer down. Jen Shah has decided to take the Tyler Perry business model to prison. That's right, prison. She is doing a housewives play in prison with her cellmates, called The Real Housewives of Federal Prison Camp Bryan. Well, you got 4 years to make it happen, Jen, so we'll see you soon. I could see her coming out with it as a success and paying off that restitutu. But then she'll scam her investors and end up back in prison. Maybe she'll be smart enough to skip the country this time. But now in Black People news, we have the Freaknik documentary coming out. I'm a peep at it. Now, I don't know if it's going to be focused on the horrors of Freaknik, because there was some, or the fun and the fun spirit of Freaknik. That's what I want to see, because the aunties, they're afraid their tea may be spilled. For all these years, they've looked down on their granddaughters and daughters. Why you out here on social media in your maxi dress? Y'all was out there in your short jeans and your halter tops on top of cars, shimmying and shaking. I think it's funny. And lastly, a fight broke out at a Monica concert while she was singing Why I Love You So Much. Did somebody get caught cheating? That's the only thing I could think. Somebody was at that concert with the sneaky link, or the sneaky link was there without they sneaky link and saw them with the main squeeze and said, oh, I'm going to put on the squeeze. Although Monica will get with you, so I'm not too surprised the spirit of was in the air. Well, let's get to Kandi's last speak on it, which she did live. An hour and 15 minutes I condensed down to 5. So Kandi starts her episode defending her performance of Understanding, even though Week did better. However, Kandi is peeved that Tasha didn't go hard for the group, saying they should have gone last. Well, for once, Tasha knew when to be wrong, and two, Tasha don't like y'all that much, so she'd even put down herself if it means she gets to put down you. And you know that, which is why you can't function as a group. Also, Tasha never gives you a real answer or a direct answer. Tasha bobs and weaves on the question. Why are you surprised? Can you ever have your own groups back? Ever? Never ever. DJ Richie Sky, you are quite smart. You sent in a $20 super chat with the question, what would it take for you to do a season 2? And will you ask Bravo to give us a Secrets Revealed episode? Well, they ain't giving us Secrets Revealed unless they already planned it, which they didn't. And honestly, they should have given us at least 12 of this. Somebody asked Kandi, who was the catalyst for the breakup of the group? And she ain't saying Tasha, but she said, well, now you've seen the show. Last year at the Soul Train Awards, when y'all said we were picking on Tasha, you now see that ain't true. And Kandi's right. She never addresses the receipts. She never gives a clear answer on or off camera. Now, Kandi has the same question that we have for Rocky, Edward Thieverhands, or the Thiever of the Undead. If you gonna say, no, I didn't talk about Escape to the promoter, then you didn't talk to Escape. But then you're gonna say, well, if I did the deal, I get a fee, then you did the deal. How are they letting you say both in the same interview? I blame production. Kandi said, and if we giving out extra fees, then I should have gotten an extra fee for the Great Escape Tour. Where's my kickback? However, to DJ's question, there hasn't been a conversation about season 2, and there probably won't. Oh, so SWV actually said they were tired of the back and forth and said understanding can end the show. And it was SWV's music director who made the suggestion. Of course, none of this was aired. Oh, T.I. performed in the middle of your set. Honey, Bravo ain't gonna put T.I. on their channel. VH1 ain't putting him on their channel. Just because he ain't charged don't mean he ain't guilty. That ignorant man is filthy. So Kandi said she'd do it again, but not with Tasha. However, she was hoping that the show would be more interactive and intertwined. I do too. But apparently your production couldn't get you enough rehearsal time. And Kandi says again, I don't know how we get on the same page to get back to 4 members because LaTasha won't give us clear answers or returned funds. She said, I can't say I'm dead set against it because we've been through so much, but we need Iyanla. Call her up. You can afford her. So she can still use the Escape name. We don't know if Tasha gonna come back and say they can't use it. Kandi says the reason I wanted them to use a different name is because we had just gotten off the Great Escape Tour, and I was going to Broadway. And Housewives, go on and say it, Housewives too. And people were asking her, why isn't she at the show? And she's like, well, I don't want people to be disappointed if I'm not there, so just use another name. What about Escape Pest Free? Or Escape No Thievery? Escaping Charges. Okay, now Kandi, did you have an attitude? You did. But you see, we're used to you being more of the peacekeeper and the chill girl on Housewives of Atlanta because your check isn't on the line like it's on the line with the group. Like, you like, okay, I gotta get on stage. Like, this is what I do, so you're not gonna embarrass me. You're on Housewives to be embarrassed or to embarrass others. So we're gonna see you at much more at ease. I think when you're with the group, also, this is old hurt, old wounds. Them heifers on Housewives you don't care about. Oh, hell, somebody said Don Juan is the voice we all need in our heads. Not unless you want to take Medicaid. Don't nobody need to hear all them ums and uhs. Please, we give heat on Don Juan because Don Juan always sticks his nose in where it don't belong, is always in women's business, and won't come out the closet. Now I hear he has a wife. A wife? You know what? I'm sure he's lovely. So the whole show was put on by a promoter in hopes that there would be a tour. So the promoter just took a loss, a big old loss. I bet you Rocky had something to do with his loss. And that was pretty much it.
Alleged what? Alleged who? Allegedly, allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. Allegedly.